This is a very unusual chemical. It's called LSD. Alright? So, put the whole picture together for a moment. You've got these half-drunk monks drying out corn, and not quite drying it properly because he's half-drunk. And they throw it into the store for the winter, and then this little tiny bit of mold grows on it, this fungus, which produces a little bit of LSD, and then they crush it up and they make bread from it, and then they all eat the bread, and oh, hey, dude, there's rainbows coming out of my fingernails. Doesn't the Book of Kells make so much more sense now? Now, here's the funny thing. This is true, by the way. I'm not making any of this up. Trust me today when I tell you, if it's a story, it'll be a story, but if I'm talking to you like this, it's true, okay? We now have fairly empirical evidence that this was done deliberately for hundreds of years, right? They hold it to a fine art. And not just the Irish. This is something that's been discovered all over the world. The Native American Indians, peyote, yeah. We have it in India, we have it in we have it in Africa, we have it in Australia with the Aborigines, using certain herbs or certain grasses or certain seeds or certain leaves that have hallucinogenic qualities, so that we can get closer to our spirit, closer to our God, to whatever the culture may have been. So getting closer to God using, well, LSD apparently was an Irish invention from almost 1500 years ago. So by the time he was a very young man, Richard's wife, she went off to France and ran away with an Englishman. It's about the biggest insult you could give a West of Ireland man. So Richard was called Hair Trigger Martin is what he was called, because he fought over 70 duels during his life. 70 duels. He obviously had a good shot because he survived them all. So we have the jewels, and then we have the Humanity Dick. Now, if you're in Galway, by the way, there's a pub called O'Noctons or Neoctons. That's his home. That's actually his house where he lived. So you've got the Galway side of it, and then you've got kind of the Connemara side, because he lived in a castle, a tower house, on a little island in a lake called Derry Clare, just outside Clifton. And if you found anybody on his land, and he was the wealthiest landowner here, he had over 60,000 acres of Connemara. If he found anybody being cruel to animals, he would lock them up in the basement of his tower house until they were willing to apologise to the animal. What do you think of that? And it wasn't as simple as, hey dog, I'm sorry I kicked you. No. He made you apologise at the farmer's market. Now, my dad used to have a saying, he still does, I suppose. He used to say, the three fastest forms of communication in Ireland are telegram, telephone, and tell your mother. With gossip still being the fastest form of communication in the world, hence Twitter's success. So, what is it they say? Facebook is where you lie to your friends, and Twitter's where you tell the truth to strangers. So, the farmer's market, before there was newspapers being delivered on a daily basis, before post was delivered more than once a week, no telephones, Alexander Graham Bell hadn't even been born yet. What you basically had was gossip, and everybody would travel to the farmer's market, not only for a couple of hours out of life, but also to find out what was going on in their world. Okay? So, this was very, very important. Very important. And as such, Richard became quite synonymous, quite famous for making people apologise to animals at the farmer's market. And let's face it, the first time you have to apologise to a cow in front of everybody you've ever met, it's the last time. And nobody wanted to be the guy apologising to. Windy is a good way of thinking. It's a relatively accurate way of thinking. I will explain that. Okay, if I'm going to dip into geology, we're going to go for geology, and I'm just going to go wholeheartedly into it, okay? Rather than try to brush over a little bit of it. Boston, by the way, you inspired a man called Oliver Cromwell, who, when he invaded Ireland, he cancelled Christmas here in 1652. So just let me tell you that we still haven't quite forgiven you for that. I mean, seriously, even the Grinch never managed to cancel Christmas. But you did found the first schools in America. Right. I've been trying to figure out where that fan has been coming from since I got onto the bus. See, quiet. It's not much quieter now. So. It sounds much better, doesn't it?
Tirei várias daí já.
Let's do the hole and it won't happen. That's all you do, guys. Mom, do you want to get one?